Hi guys, welcome back to the cinema.
Today we're discussing Game of Thrones.
Season 3 starts on the 30th on HBO.
Okay guys, so Game of Thrones. I've heard so much about this show. I'm very eager to start watching it, to get down deep into Game of Thrones.
You need to watch it.
You do that.
So tell me and everybody out there that hasn't seen Game of Thrones what this show is about.
It's high fantasy, so if you like Dungeons and Dragons, if you like, well, Dungeons and Dragons, or like any high fantasy, you know, with magic and sword fighting and also pretty graphic sex.
It's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win, yeah.
I think it's also very political, which is why it works for many people who won't necessarily... And it takes time before the magic kicks in, I think, towards the end of Season 1. So even if you're not that...
There's magic in the very first scene of the first episode.
Really? I don't remember.
Yeah, way back in the beginning when they're on the other side of the wall and the walkers.
I don't remember.
The very beginning.
So there's elements of magic.
There's elements of magic.
Are there magical beings as well?
Yes.
You have dragons.
There's dragons. There's dragons. And it's what's awesome about it is it's kind of like a world where magic exists, but it may have died out a little bit. And it takes place in a completely different world. If you watch the opening sequence, it's pretty cool. All the graphics kind of tell the whole story of what's happened before.
It's kind of long, but it's very, like, it's one of the most impressive openings that I've ever seen on TV.
Okay, so this show has magic in it. Now, I've seen a couple of shows that are similar to this, and I want to know how they compare. So I watced Spartacus. Is this show anything like Spartacus?
No.
Nothing like Spartacus.
And I love Spartacus, but...
Yeah, I like
nothing like Spartacus.
Spartacus, boobs and blood.
Okay. What about...
that's the title for the next
Yeah, no, that could be it. Boobs and blood. I see that as a title of Spartacus. The Legend of the Seeker. I love that show as well. Is this anything like that show? You guys seen that?
That's like around like Xena, isn't it? That's like Xena
hey,
quality.
But it has...
don't get me wrong.
He was telling when he said Xena. That's
Don't
not...
get me wrong. I love Lucy Lawless. I love Xena, but you have to agree that the quality of that show is poor.
Also, it's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but it's poor. The writing is bad.
Xena's actually in game,
Spartacus. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Lucy Lawless.
Finally seen them titties.
Lucretia.
After 20 years. Okay.
Lucy Lawless,
Game of Thrones, I think it differs from other stuff, but it's just so full of ego. The whole show is like...
It's all about, because the Game of Thrones, it's about who gets the throne. The ruler of all the lands.
And they have such a complicated history, so many people think they're entitled. There was an exile, one of the kings.
Yeah, there was an exile to another continent. That's the woman who has dragons, the Khaleesi. And what's interesting, I haven't read the books, but from what I've gleaned from reading about the show and everything like that, that whole story of Khaleesi is all one book. So they're kind of blending all the books at the same time because they're all on one specific timeline. So they're all blended together. I could be wrong, but that's what I've gleaned. But it's...
I've heard the first book is pretty loyal to the first... Like, the first season is pretty loyal to the first book, and then it starts to kind of like...
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited for the new season because... Have you guys ever watched the show Misfits?
Yes. I love Misfits.
The guy who plays... No, I can't...
Yeah, Ian... I don't know how to pronounce his name. He was in Spring Awakening on West End as well.
Which character is he playing Misfits?
Simon.
Simon?
He's in the show.
He's going to be in the show. Cool. He's going to be in the show.
Cool.
I've heard he's going to to be like a dick.
Kieran...
Can we say that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably going to be dick.
Yeah,
but Kieran... Now I can't remember his name. His last name. I feel bad. But I met him in person.
You met him in person?
He goes to the bar that I go to.
Oh, cool.
But he's also right on Broadway. He's Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Who's that? The guy?
Kieran... Can't remember.
His picture's up there.
It's impossible to remember names of characters on the show. The girl who plays Khaleesi is now on Broadway. I think it's Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, that's also one of the greatest things about the show is the caliber of acting is phenomenal. it's fantastic.
Okay, so now I get to ask the most important question of all about the show. Are there any black people?
Yes!
There are!
Yes!
Where are they?
In the second season.
Where are the black? Also, we have to wait a season.
Yes.
So season 1.
Yes.
Listen, but in terms of the show's timeline, it's like one long thing. You
also, it's another world. It's another...
Exactly. So
there are
black people.
It's in the second season, and it's like kind of Arabian black guy.
You feel like you walked into Aladdin.
No,
yeah, it's kind of
the reason I ask these questions is because I'm for our African American audience. I'm looking so they can relate. Okay. I also want to know if there's any Asian people, anything else other than.
I don't think there's
what people can relate to.
Black people?
I mean, the whole show is
for other.
I don't know. I'm not black.
Half of them are British.
We like seeing ourselves.
It's an alternate universe in which everyone is British.
Yeah, everyone has a British accent.
Also, everybody in the show has a British accent.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Also, any other fans out there will agree with me. They want to punch Joffrey in the face.
Joffrey's the prince?
Yes, he's the prince.
He's the current king, basically, and you know that the actor is doing a really good job because you just constantly want to slap him in the face. Yeah. He's so committed to what he's doing.
Also, what was funny when I first started watching the show, one of the leads is Sean Bean, who you probably know from Lord of the Rings.
Of course.
And the whole thing about Sean Bean is he dies in everything he's in. So when I started watching, it was like, oh, finally a show where he's not going to die. Then by the end of the first season, dead.
But it's cool because they're daring. They're not like, oh, we want to keep our lead cast, the famous people in our cast, so they don't mind make those hard choices.
Also, Peter Dinklage.
Oh my God, he's amazing. He won an Emmy for his role in the show.
He is amazing in this show. A little thing about me, I have an irrational fear of midgets.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I do. But Dinklage, I don't.
He's a
So he breaks your fear.
He breaks my fear.
That's acting right there.
He's actually kind of become a sex symbol. Like,
hold on, there's midget sex on this?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I mean, he's not fucking other midgets.
Right. But he is partaking.
Dwarfs. I think they prefer to be called dwarfs.
Okay.
I'm sorry if
there are plenty. Yeah, we have plenty of dwarf fans. Hi guys. They watch all the time.
Yeah, I mean the thing about the show is you have so many story arcs going on at the same time in different places, and you think it would be hard in such a big cast to get attached to so many characters, but it works. You're kind of interested in almost everybody's stories, from even the supporting characters. The Arya Stark has
I want to know all about the wolf and the two brothers that Joffrey's right hand man. I want to know more about him and his brother, because that scene where he takes off his sword and cuts the horse's head off. Oh my God, that was crazy.
For me, Arya Stark, she became my favorite character last season. She has such a potential as a woman to become this badass person.
Yeah.
So you guys actually made me. I cannot. So I'm actually eager to see the show now. You got this magic, there's dragons. I really want to see
the thing is, there's so many. You're like, oh, you think you know where it's going. And then it comes out of nowhere, you're like, oh, holy shit.
I think season 2 was a bit slower.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole season was a build-up to what's to come in season 3, because the last 2 episodes of season 2 were like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then probably season 3 is going to be from day 1, it's going to be like, wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So go check out Game of Thrones. I'm going to check it out. And I want you guys to come back when season 3 is getting good or wrapping up.
Yeah.
To come talk about this, and I'll be more educated on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to jump in.
I think it's what, 8 episodes a season?
Yeah, so it's quick and easy.
So great. Okay, cool. Yeah. So thanks for joining us, guys. Stay tuned. We'll do a part 2 to this Game of Thrones. This show's really, really hot right now. Everybody's talking about this show. So
it's all over the subway.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.